Todd Pinkney, one of our P1s who came to our Seattle Kraken expansion draft watch party the other night, asks if Monty the Squirrel's going to use the lawnmower 4.0 to trim his nuts. I was thinking more, how about that? But
how about that?
It's not an unreasonable question.
No, it is not.
Monty the Squirrel. Can we get that done up by the end of the show? And I'm in favor of your mom sewing the costume this time.
You are?
Yes.
Are you watching?
Paula?
She's probably watching.
What's going on back here? They're all laughing back there. Oh, I'd wonder. Oh.
Because then you paused. And I was like, this? In favor of her? What?
I know. I heard them bust out laughing. I'm like, what are you?
And then you sewing the costume, and it's like, just disarmed me. I'm like, okay, we're good. She can sew the costume.
I'm in favor of your mom.
What? Say it. Say it.
And I'm like, you just got a life lesson, boys. There's always going to be somebody mean or somebody nasty or somebody big. There's always going to be. So you might as well learn it now. Thanks for picking on me and keeping me humble. I appreciate it, man. Enjoy the ball this weekend.
You look like you worked at Burger King in 1986 wearing that thing.
At least I had a job in 1986.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Wow. Did you have that planned, Jordan? My Burger King shirt? Did I? Is that how we're starting?
How about that?
I feel it. I'm with you. I'm with you. Mum jokes. I could do that. It's a Football Friday. We're in the beautiful air-conditioned South Florida studio. We're on the Game Plus television network. Also on the radio in Atlanta, WQEE. They are our radio partner, adding to our vastly growing network. And, of course, streaming live on YouTube and in podcast form, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Let's bring in the Moose. I don't know about you, Moose. I'm sure you're ready for the weekend. I'm hoping you're ready to have fun. This is a quick segment because Jim Barker's coming in next. But for me, it's been not a stressful week, but a trying week, but not a bad week. I've put all those things to bed. I'm feeling good. I got some really exciting things to look forward to this weekend. So, baby, I'm good. How about you? Are you ready to go?
I am ready to go, man. Like, watched a Thursday nighter last night, so had a bit of a late night, which I like, having a late night and then kind of having a slow morning. But you know what? I spent the morning. It was going to be a slow morning. I spent it watching some college football previews, reading up on, the CFL weekend, NHL camp. So it's good. I'm ready for the weekend.
Sounds like you're ready to go. Well, hey. The guests today, CFL on TSN's Jim Barker in hour one. My good and longtime friend, Scott Schultz. They say he and I made up radio magic back in the day. Hall of Fame defensive tackle with the Saskatchewan Roughriders and also the San Diego Chargers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Scott Schultz, the old 96er, which I nicknamed him, coming up in hour two at a huge CFL weekend. And Jason Gatelaro from NASCAR Canada. Before we go any further, I will tell you the text line is open, 902-518-3033. I know people are ready to talk some ball. So, Director Jordan, can you please hit the quick six show horn and we'll get down to business.
Let's go.
Come on in, everybody. David, number one in Winnipeg, says first, happy Football Friday. Wayne in Victoria, BC, happy Football Friday. Michael in Louisiana, happy Friday, y'all. Allie in Texarkana, happy Football Friday. Carlos in Indianapolis, hey, everyone. The gang's all here, Moose. And we're going to open up with the NFL before we sashay to the three-down league. Number 1.1, Aaron Rodgers threw 2 touchdown passes in a superb homecoming performance. New York's defense was dominant, and the Jets rolled to a 24-3 victory over the New England Patriots on Thursday Night Football. Rodgers started his first game at MetLife Stadium since leaving just over 1 year ago with a torn Achilles tendon in New York's opener. Again, Jets 24, Patriots 3. I'll say this, get used to it. Everybody get used to it. Get used to the Patriots losing. Get used to the Jets winning. I watched it like you. It was on Amazon Prime. Here's my very first thought. I'm like, ooh, these coaches are pretty jacked, pretty good shape. Robert Saleh of the Jets and Gerard Mayo of the Patriots. In different ways. Saleh looks like he's ready to go run the 100. Mayo looks like he's ready to go bench press a Buick. But either way, the fat, out-of-shape coaches era is gone. That was the thing that struck me first, Darren. And, yeah, I mean, I was like you watching the pundits and the coverage this morning. They're saying Aaron Rodgers doesn't look like the MVP form in Green Bay. No. He looks better. And they're saying, no, but he's going to challenge the Jets in the AFC East. And I'm like, the Bills might. I don't think the Dolphins will. And as we saw last night, the Patriots won't. But how do you see this, AFC East, how do you think this AFC East is going to shake down based on what happened last night?
Yeah, the Jets took a massive step forward. They needed that to get that second win. And, with New England, they're really trying to protect Drake May, is what I've seen. Because, you had opportunities you could have went to him earlier. Didn't. He looked okay late. They weren't trying to necessarily score. They weren't trying not to score, but they weren't using their timeouts. The game was over at that point. But I thought he moved the ball downfield into the red zone. Probably scores a touchdown. That was his NFL debut. If they call a touchdown and try and manage the clock and give him the opportunity. But, the Jets look better and better every week. And as I mentioned this, at the beginning of the season. Aaron Rodgers, coming off the injury, hasn't played in a long time, hasn't played at home since that injury, didn't have a training. He was in camp, but he's not playing in the preseason. So these first few weeks are kind of the Jets preseason. The games matter, but it's the preseason, and you're seeing them get better and better and better. We know they've got a great defense. Hassan Reddick aside, they're better, and they're going to keep getting better. So I think they're going to kind of be the ones who dictate this division.
Well, there are those in the media, too, that say the Jets are a toxic franchise and they're cursed and they got bad culture. So we'll see. They're 2-1. They look good. Is there some – they just feel there's that dark cloud hanging over them. And, the bad luck's going to happen somewhere down the line, and maybe it will. But so far, so good. They look really good. Here's our poll question today heading into, week 3 of the NFL season. I get mixed up between that and college. Week 4 college. Week 3 NFL. The game of the week is what? There's some doozies this weekend in the National Football League, and that is our poll question. I haven't even looked at the results, and I don't think it's been up on YouTube that long. I haven't looked at the Twitter results, so just hang on. In an hour, we'll check it. But our options are these. Houston at Minnesota, which if I wasn't a Cowboys fan, that would be mine. That's a battle of 2-0 team. Houston at Minnesota. Green Bay at Tennessee. You will vote for that. That's your Titans. Malik Willis comes in, the quarterback of the Packers. Unless Jordan Love starts. Have they decided yet who's starting for the Packers?
No, I don't think so. I think it'll be Malik Willis if I was a betting man.
Well, that's the storyline, right? And then the third is Baltimore at Dallas. And my guy Chris from the Bronx, we're texting this morning talking about laying bets and stuff. Like on chicken sandwiches, okay, not huge money. Sport betting, basically. But he says, are you Cowboys going to handle the Ravens? His New York football Giants are the worst team in the NFL, or one of them. So it's fun talking about these things. But the third option for the game of the week is the Ravens at the Cowboys. Great. Cowboys need a win, I think, going into that game. But they've got the 0-2 Ravens coming in, who are favored, by the way. And in hour 2, we'll play NFL Deal or No Deal. It's just so much fun to talk about these games. But these are the options. What's the game of the week in the NFL? Texans at Vikings, Packers at Titans, Ravens at Cowboys, or other. Maybe it's a game we haven't even thought of. But it's 2 games involving Moose and I's teams in the poll. Now, moving on to point 2. Fun. I was on the radio in Edmonton yesterday, Sports 1440 with Low Tide, talking with the CFL. I literally had him laughing so much he almost fell out of his chair. He sounded like Santa Claus. And he's like, I didn't know you were this funny. I'm like, well, hey, we should be having fun, right? We're not the coaches. We're not going to get fired if they lose. We're good. We're fans. The Toronto Argonauts are set to host the Hamilton Tiger Cats tonight in CFL play. Hamilton defeated Toronto 31-28 the last time they met on Labor Day. Since then, Toronto's gone 1-1, and of course, traveling cross country to upset the BC Lions last Friday night. And the Ticats run a 2-game win streak. And of course, in McMahon, what is my game of the week, and I think you voted for this as the game of the week, the Calgary Stampeders host the Saskatchewan Roughriders tonight in the first meeting between the two teams this year in CFL play. And it's a pivotal one. The 4-8-1 Stamps can move from last all the way up into third with the win tonight over the Roughriders, who are winless in 7. Calgary's winless in 5. So, yeah, history. It's got in the game notes. Well, it's got in the wire story. Calgary's won 8 of 10 regular season meetings against Saskatchewan since 2019. That don't matter. Riders are favored going in. I wrote it down, Moose, by 3. You and I both picked them to win. But does it surprise you they're favored to win on the road tonight at McMahon?
No, but that's the case of nothing in the Canadian Football League surprises me. Yeah. I think, you look at the Riders. We talked about them being close in games but not winning. You have to go into that and think about that when you're betting, that, it's not a team getting blown out. And Calgary's really struggled offensively. Jake Mayer has struggled at times. It's not surprising, but it's a massive game. I to be honest, I thought the line, would you say it was 3 points or 3.5? I thought the line would be a lot tighter. I thought it'd be like 1.5. Like I really did. It should be tighter.
Which way?
To me, it doesn't matter. And so to me, if I'm betting the spread, I think the smart money, I didn't bet it this way on the money line yesterday on our bets, but I think the smart bet is Calgary. Take the points. If you're giving you 3.5, I think you got to go Calgary.
Checking in on the comments. Brent in Wellington, Florida says, go, Pack, go. He's going to be at the game. Do you want him to bring you something back, Moose? Now, you got enough Titans stuff.
Yeah.
I was there with you. Were you and I? Oh, you want him to? Where we wandered the tailgating before the game? That was a lot of fun. Jeff the Stamps fan says, Rod has humidity hair today. LOL. Well, thank Tough Tribe for that. Personally, I thought I was having a good hair day. Nelson, our VP of a sim event, says Gerard Mayo, brother of former Stampeder and now Patriots strength and conditioning coach Deron Mayo. How about that, Clark?
How about that?
Oh, they're showing pickleball on Game Plus. There's nothing I can do about that. Sorry. At least you found us here on YouTube. That'll jack our numbers on YouTube, so I'm okay with that. Nelson, our VP of simulation events, has run the simulation probably 10,000 times on the game tonight. He says the simulation, has the Riders winning 27-24. So the line is spot on. How about that? Now, we got Jim Barker coming in next to talk about all things CFL. But there are 2 games tomorrow, Montreal and Ottawa. If I have this right, I could go back and look. But I have the Alouettes, because I always pick the Alouettes. You have the Red Blacks, right? Am I right on that?
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Forget about them. Winnipeg at Edmonton. The Bombers are favored by 3 going in there. As I read the game notes, stop the presses. Usually there's like one headline-worthy nugget in the game notes for every game. Have you heard this? No team in CFL history has ever started the season 0-7 and made the playoff. Not one freaking team. In 114 years of CFL football, no team has ever started 0-7 and rallied to make the playoffs. Will it be enough for the Edmonton, whatever they are, to win this weekend? You think that they will win. I've got the Bombers to win. But I'm sitting there. I don't need to be Jarius Jackson. I'm not a coach, though I play one on TV at times, and was offered to give a pregame speech at a game tonight. But I would be saying that, boys, you want to make history? We always talk about the 2011 BC Lions. You know that? The team that rallied from 0-5 to win the Grey Cup. I know a lot of guys on that team. They're so proud of that. How about this stat? No team has rallied from 0-7 to make the playoffs ever. Question is, are they going to do it?
That's something to be proud of if you can do that. Setting history, being a part of this. And that would be a rallying cry for this locker room, for Jarius Jackson. Absolutely. I think it's incredibly exciting, and I think they can do it. Playoffs? A couple of weeks ago, I was saying they'll be in the Grey Cup. So, to me, I don't want to be the kiss of death to the Edmonton Elks, but I think the playoffs is almost a guarantee for these guys, the way they're playing.
Oh, don't jinx it. Don't jinx it, Moose. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in, and he says, no 0-7 team has ever made the playoffs. That's surprising in the CFL, right? Do you see why I love these game notes so much? Not a lot of things fire me up anymore. I'm an old man, but game notes fire me up. They really do. If it's in a league that I care about, and this is one. My friend Brent from Wellington, Florida, writes in, he says, I got you covered, Moose. Titans win, I'll bring you a shirt back. Packers win, you wear a Packers shirt on the air. Deal or no deal?
Deal.
Okay.
It's also Matt
about this
LaFleur,
one?
former Titans offensive coordinator. That's the head coach of the Packers. And my best buddy, Phil, is a Packers fan, too. I hate the Packers. Go Titans.
That's folks, that's strong words from Darren because he doesn't hate a lot. So if you're saying you hate the Packers, you must really hate the Packers. Here's a funny one for you yesterday. Brent from Wellington, Florida. I won't say why, but he said he was in the area and he drove past the office here. And he said, I didn't see your Jeep out front. And I said, because we're on North Federal Highway, Boca Raton, Florida is where we're at. And I said, I parked in the back. That Goldie was in the back parking lot. So Brent can know where the studio is, but nobody else. You'd be surprised how many people broadcast national shows out of Boca Raton, Florida. A hell of a lot. Allie in Texarkana writes in, she says, I have never heard Darren say he hates anything. No, me either. That's why I say it's a monumental moment that Moose says he hates the Green Bay Packers. He must really hate them. John Ohm says, guess who is on the depth chart for Winnipeg? Jake Dolegala. The Riders should have never let him go. You say whatever you want. We're inclusive here. But the postmortem will not be performed until the season is over. And some are sharpening the knife. But we'll wait to see what happens tonight at McMahon. Moose, I'll see you in hour 2. What do you say?
All right. We'll see you then.
All right. This is going to be great. Jim Barker coming in next to preview all these great CFL games. And I got some NFL questions, too, and yours if you want. 902-518-3033 for the coach. We'll be right back on Game Plus TV. WQEE Radio. Hey, John Barker's checking in from Gig Harbor, Washington. That your brother, Jim? I love it. The brothers are here, the Barker brothers. That sounds like a Netflix show, too. Streaming live on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Did you know that you can help save life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
The 80s Club, live in Moose Jaw. Honeymoon Suite, along with a flock of seagulls. Men without hats. And spoons. All together for one night at Moose Jaw Event Center, Saturday, November 16th. Tickets on sale now at sastix.ca or the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, join the Rod Squad newsletter today. Stay ahead of the game with exclusive insights, updates, contests, and exclusive content delivered straight to your inbox. Sign up for free today at rodpedersen.com. Okay, let's please welcome in the coach, Jim Barker. Apparently, it's a family affair, Coach. Your whole family's watching. David, John. I love that you've brought them all into the RP show, man. That's great.
Yeah, my older brother lives in Virginia, David, and his wife, Shelley. They're in Gig Harbor celebrating John's wife's, Karen's, birthday, and they sent me something last night at dinner. But I knew that John and Karen, they watch Rod Pedersen every week. But my older brother, I think this is a first for him.
Well, welcome. Welcome to all the Barkers. We think a lot of Jim. That's why we have him here on the program. And this is going to be an unfair question, but life's not fair, Coach. What game has you the most fired up in Week 16 of the CFL?
Oh, boy. Every single one is great. I'm going to say this Toronto-Hamilton because it's a must-win. If Hamilton loses this, I mean, they may be able to cross over, but this is their playoff game. It doesn't get any bigger for them. And for Toronto, if they can win, they actually will be even in number of wins with Ottawa, who plays Montreal tomorrow, which now makes second place great. That, to me, that game in the East is monstrous. Obviously, the Saskatchewan, oh my goodness gracious. They haven't won a game past Labor Day since 2021. You talk about adding pressure to the pressure cooker that is Regina, that what Regina is like. It's like I said when Corey got the job. It's the greatest job in the world until you have to start playing games. And, it's tough. When you haven't won a game as an organization since 2021 after Labor Day, you talk about mounting the pressure, and now they go into McMahon Stadium, which, again, that's just a difficult place for Saskatchewan to play. That's going to be a spectacular game. That's going to be fantastic game. And then you have the first and second place team in the East on Saturday with Montreal going into Ottawa, and Ottawa trying to stave off the Argos, but also trying to catch, Montreal. So, and then it ends with Edmonton, the team that everybody thinks is the one nobody wants to play. Trey Ford coming back at quarterback against the Bombers, who lost Adam Bighill for the year, but they'll still be the Bombers. And it's in Edmonton, which is a huge advantage for Edmonton. I think the crowd will be great again. You have 4 games. How do you pick a best game? There's not one bad one. I would not leave the TV for any of them. It's going to be that great of a CFL weekend. I can't remember.
I agree. No, I don't. And it was an unfair question. But by the way, we're inclusive here. Answer it however you want. I don't think there's a wrong answer to that. And then the team that's not playing, I'm dying to ask you this, is BC. How serious is their quarterback controversy? Let's be honest. Like, who should they be starting in their next game, Nathan Rourke or VA?
Nathan Rourke is their future. I mean, they signed him to a 3-year deal. This is one that everybody says how great it is to have 2 great quarterbacks. And that could be true as long as you're winning. But as soon as you start losing, now that can become a real problem in your locker room, because, you'll have players who are very, very for VA. You'll have players for Rourke. You'll have that happens as soon as you don't win. So when they lost that game to Toronto, it made that quarterback situation, to me, go from very enviable to, man, I'm not sure I'd want to be Rick Campbell in this one.
Yeah,
so,
and that's, I don't know. Listen, that whole adage about if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. No, I'd rather have 2 really good quarterbacks, and that's what they have. But you're right. It's not something you would want to go on for very long. We had it with Burris and Nealon Green in the early 2000s in Saskatchewan, and it split the locker room right down the middle. And what's terrible is they're both great guys. And I'm sure VA and Nathan Rourke are too, right? Like, I just hope Nathan gets back to being Nathan, because he's not right now.
Yeah, well, you have 2 guys that are both viable MOP. They're viable guys who could be MOP in the league. And it's not like having, even when you had Henry and Nealon, I'm not sure either at that point in Henry's career, because we signed him in 2005 in Calgary. I had just gotten the GM job there, and we signed Henry in Calgary. And I remember that whole thing with Nealon. They were both really good quarterbacks, but neither one was at that MOP stage. You got 2 MOP quarterbacks, 2 guys that this year, if Nathan would have come in and played at the level he was at after VA's first half of the season, you could legitimately say we got 2 guys who could be MOP. Now, that's a completely different situation than Henry Burris, Nealon Green. That's 2 really great quarterbacks, quarterbacks that are really soft, but that's not 2 MOP quarterbacks. And that's a whole different kettle of fish.
Yeah. Jody writes in and says, Argos. This is where the Argo fans come to talk, right here, the RP show. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in and he says, death, taxes, and the Riders losing at McMahon. Yeah, except for playoff time, Jeff. Do we want to go there? I didn't think so. On those Argos, they got stuff to prove, too. Big win in BC last week, no doubt. But there's always going to be the naysayers on Chad Kelly. I think he's probably using it as fuel. That's just going to be a hell of a game tonight. Chad Kelly versus Bo Levi. We got great quarterback matchups here, too, right?
And that's throughout the league. I think you've got quarterbacks playing really well all the way across. I mean, when you look at every game, Bo Levi's playing as well as he's played since 2018. And that bodes well for the Tiger Cats, who bring Chris Jones back, and they change the whole dynamic. They are now a team that when they're on the field, they are flying around, having fun, and expecting to get turnovers. It wasn't the case, and I like Mark Washington a lot, but sometimes you've been at a place too long, and whatever happens, Chris Jones has come in there and lit a fire in that place, and that allows the quarterback to even play at a different level. Chad Kelly's as good as there is in the league. He really is. He's a fan. What he did last year was, I think, glossed over. Like him, don't like him by the other things. That's a person's choice. But we're blessed to have a great player like that in our league. It's going to be just in a must-win game. That's why I say, to me, it's a must-win game at BMO Field. You got two teams that need the game badly, but it's a must-win for Hamilton and Bo Levi. And I can't wait to watch that. But you got great quarterbacking everywhere. I mean, Trevor Harris is going to go down as one of the all-time leading passers in the history of this league. And Jake Mayer is finding his way. He's having a bit of a down year. But they let go of Bo Levi Mitchell for Jake Mayer. And you can't forget that. John Huffnagel and Dave Dickinson know quarterbacks as well as anybody in this league, and they chose Jake Mayer over Bo Levi Mitchell. And then, you have Trey Ford, and what's he doing against Zach Caleros last year, two-time, going for his third MOP in a row, I believe. Those two quarterbacks going at it on Saturday. A quarterback who just threw for 500 yards, he can't get in the lineup because of Trey Ford. So, I mean, how can you not love this? Cody Fajardo, your boy. Cody Fajardo and Drew Brown. Again, same thing.
Cody going to go in there. They're going to have their way with the Red Blacks. Continue. Sorry.
I kind of agree with you on that one. I think the Red Blacks are injured. I was going to ask you, what did you think of the Riders going out and signing Raquel Armstead, who had all the
starting him tonight
in Ottawa, and starting him.
I don't like it. They started a right tackle that they stole from the Stamps practice roster the week the Riders were at Toronto. Started him 4 days later in that game. You were there. It's
Trevon Tate.
It's not. Yeah. And I just. Yeah. It's. You're putting me on the spot because the roster's being exposed. It's a depth issue to me. I guess while we're talking about that team, and by the way, I just want to say Adrian's checked in from the Rainy Day podcast in West Palm Beach, Florida. He says, great shirt, Rod. Thanks, Adrian. I wanted to say thank you for pointing that out. It's from the
Is that a soccer shirt, though? That looks like a soccer shirt.
I would never wear a soccer shirt. It's from a clothing brand called Whole Life here in Florida. They've given me a whole line of clothes, mostly NFL colors. This is supposed to be Florida Panthers colors. But let's be honest. How about Corey Mays having to stop practice twice? You come back from a bye, and you got to stop practice twice to yell at your guys, take them inside when you're facing a must-win game? None of it looks good. Signing this bad actor that Ottawa got rid of, you sign him and play him Friday? Like, Jim, it doesn't look good, okay? But when I say that, people don't like me pointing out the truth.
When you haven't won a game past Labor Day in 2 years, it's almost desperation. Like I said, it's desperation time. These games tonight, what better could you do on a Friday night than watch these two games? I mean, these games are going to be spectacular. They both have such great storylines.
I'm guessing you don't know if they'll be on CBS Sports Network in the States tonight or not, or do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
My brother John would know. Tell John he knows everything about when CFL football's on.
Okay, John, can you please let us know? John, Jim's brother John is watching in Washington. And listen, I'm serious about it because I got to go to DeBuck's game, Cardinal Gibbons Chiefs High School tonight, and I want to go to Wings and things after the game and watch it on CBS Sportsnet with the Buck in the wing place we go to in Fort Lauderdale. I want to know if it's going to be on the TV or not. I do have an NFL question for you. I don't know if you've seen, I'm sure you have, the passing yards in the NFL through 2 weeks are at an all-time low. And now everybody's going off about how they don't pass anymore. Do you think it's just a fad, or is it a trend, do you think, of more of a ground game?
No, I think everything is cyclical in sports, and especially in football. And I think you're seeing a lot more 2 and 3 tight ends, a lot of people are going to run the ball. You have a lot of head coaches now are defensive coaches, and defensive coaches, they want no turnovers, they don't want the field spread. And I also think the whole quarterback injury thing has something to do with that. And when you run these spread offenses, you expose the quarterback. And it's one of the things in our league that's just a fact of the way our league play. Our league doesn't use many tight ends anymore. There's a few teams that will occasionally line up a fullback and a tight end, but not very often, not like the old days. And again, that will become cyclical too. But I think a lot of it has to do with that. Plus, the quarterbacks they're getting from the NFL are more on the athletic side than they've been before. And I think it's more conducive to them to run more of the play action types of things and that type of thing, which means you have to run the ball to set up the play action, because those are called progression reads, where a quarterback will go 1, 2, play action, and I'm going to go deep, middle. And they're a lot different than in the passing game. You have certain defenders based on coverage you have to read. So it's a different mentality in terms of how you read in a drop back as opposed to play action. And I think a lot of it is you've got how many young quarterbacks? I mean, Bryce Young's getting benched this week. Cameron Williams is struggling. It's just there. You got Justin Fields now playing in Pittsburgh and playing okay. You've got a lot of guys that are those type of quarterbacks that will, the simpler it is, the better it's going to be, because then they can use their athleticism.
Yeah, sure. Well, I've said this to you before. People, not just us, get way too ingrained in what goes on early. Saskatchewan Roughriders started 5-1. They could be eliminated from the race tonight. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers started 0-4. Right? And all of a sudden, they've won 5 in a row. And, it's these early things.
Well, your Edmonton stat. I'm stealing it.
Isn't that
tonight.
Something?
The first team in history. I love when it's going to be the first team in history. So I'm stealing that one tonight.
As long as you give me credit. Okay, Coach. We will be we'll be watching. Thank you so much. Thanks for bringing your family in.
All right. Hey, and tell DeBuck good luck tonight. Is he a big game for him?
Every game's big, but yeah. They're 1-2. They could use this one tonight. Yeah, it's going to be Bud Tite Stadium's going to be rocking tonight here in Fort Lauderdale. All right,
there we go.
I'll pass it along.
Thanks.
All right, Coach Jim Barker joining us from the CFL on TSN, and thank you to John Barker or David, one of the two Barker brothers that are watching, saying that all games are on CFL Plus this weekend in the USA because college football has taken over CBS Sports Network. We'll be right back with a sports update and your questions and comments. The old 96er Scott Schultz coming up in hour 2, and Jason Gatelaro from NASCAR as well. We're live, I guess not on Game Plus TV today, so welcome everybody to YouTube. Of course, WQEE Radio as well, and Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the City of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, Let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
Now the race is on and here comes pride in the backstretch.
Celebrate 40 years of Sawyer Brown.
Some girls don't like boys like me.
With Shenandoah.
You got to get me to the church on the Cumberland Road.
Plus special guest George Fox. Saturday, October 26th, Moose Jaw Event Center.
I'll take the dirt road.
Tickets are on sale now at the Moose Jaw Event Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
6 days on the road and I'm
Sawyer Brown and Shenandoah live.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
It's a Football Friday. We have said so long to Jim Barker for the week and look forward to watching him this weekend, CFL on TSN. By the way, folks, join veteran NHL coach Lauren Mulliken, Rough Riders great Bob Foley, curler Gil Dash, and me at the first ever Wolseley Celebrity Sports Dinner Saturday, October 19th. A night of stories, laughs, and a great dinner benefiting the Wolseley Sportsplex. For tickets, email wolseley.arenaboard@gmail.com. If you can believe, which you probably can, we just got so ensconced in football talk that we didn't even get to the rest of our topics in the quick six. And I'm going to do that now as part of our sports update, just so you know of the other sports going on. Shohei Ohtani has become the first Major League Baseball player to hit 50 home runs and steal 50 bases in a season. He did it by going deep 3 times and swiping 2 bags in a 20-4 Dodgers win at the Miami Marlins last night. And I'll tell you something. My guy, Chris, who's probably watching right now, texted me this morning and said, we probably should have went to that, huh? Yeah, but at least I was watching it on Valley Sports Florida. I was able to watch it live, and that was cool. It was funny because the announcers for the Marlins were like, didn't know there's so many Dodgers fans in South Florida. Well, there isn't. But they were there to see Shohei Ohtani make history, and they didn't go home disappointed. I had friends that went to other games in this midweek series and didn't see that, but they did see Shohei. But big night last night at Lone Depot Park. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays. Kevin Gausman exited with lower back tightness, but not before getting his 13th win with 6 strikeouts and 1 walk to help the Blue Jays to a 4-0 victory over the Texas Rangers Thursday night. Vladdy hit 2 solo shots to reach 30 for the season. The reigning World Series champion Texas Rangers were officially eliminated from the American League West race. Texas Longhorns coach Steve Sarkisian says freshman quarterback Arch Manning will get his first career start Saturday against Louisiana Monroe. Regular starter Quinn Ewers continues to recover from a strained muscle in his abdomen. Manning relieved Ewers in last week's win over UTSA and passed for 4 touchdowns and ran for another. Texas is playing its first game as number 1 in the college football rankings since 2008. Longhorns start their SEC schedule September 28th. That's next weekend against Mississippi State. How about some hockey news for y'all? Among the competitions for jobs at Calgary Flames training camp, the battle for starting goaltender stands out. The trade of Jacob Markstrom to the New Jersey Devils in June opened the door for a new number 1 to walk through. Dan Vladar and Dustin Wolf are the 2 main contenders trying to land that job, although the newly acquired Devin Cooley wants to make it a 3-man race. Meanwhile, Radko Gudas has evolved from the rambunctious young defenseman whose vicious hits led to a cool hockey nickname and a less cool reputation as one of the NHL's dirty players. Gudas is still known as the Butcher, but he's now a steady, productive veteran who plays the game much cleaner and smarter these days, and that's why he was named the 9th captain in Anaheim Ducks history on Thursday, and the first European Ducks captain since Teemu Selanne. The sports update brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes. Hockey players, are you looking for the perfect place to perfect your shot? Look no further than Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Whether you're prepping for the big game or just want to have some fun, Overtime Hockey Lanes has got you covered. And trust me, they do. I would not lie to you. 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. You had to drag me out of there the first time I went. Had to drag Serena out of there when I took her there last month. She's a hockey gal first. Sports Update also brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. In Landmark Cinemas now, Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is back. Check your local Landmark Cinemas for showtimes. While I have it, because I put this in my sports update, the 24-25 Western Hockey League season officially begins tonight with 8 games across the league. The Moose Jaw Warriors will celebrate a franchise first WHL Championship banner raising Saturday prior to puck drop at the Moose Jaw Event Center as the Prince Albert Raiders visit the Friendly City. I can attest it is the Friendly City. And all summer long, I was broadcasting baseball, reading these liners. Moose Jaw Miller Express Baseball brought to you by the Moose Jaw Warriors. Be in attendance when we raise a banner on Saturday, September 21st. Season tickets on sale now. Meanwhile, Calgary product Landon DuPont, no relation, is set to make his WHL debut on the blue line of the Everett Silvertips Saturday night when the Vancouver Giants visit Angel of the Winds Arena. Landon DuPont is the 2nd exceptional player in the history of the Western Hockey League. The first, kind of but odd. 902-518-3033, the number to text us here. Big night for football, big weekend for football in the Canadian Football League. It's at week 16. Brian in Hudson Bay writes in, and he says, I had the Sask Calgary game a pick'em. Now the Riders are without Carney and Milligan. I got Calgary about 28-18. I see what you're saying, but I went to covers.com this morning, and they still have the Rough Riders favored to win by 3. Kirk in Toronto writes in. He is watching, I guess, on YouTube because we are preempted from Game Plus today. Says, hey, Rod, it's game day and the end of summer. Saddle up and batten down the hatches. The oldest rivalry in pro football resumes tonight on the famed CNA ground. The flask is full. The veins flow double blue. On to the GO train. Next stop, exhibition. Go Scullers. He is fired up for the game tonight. How about that? We'll continue with all your comments. all your comments when we come back, and we'll update the poll too. We got NFL Deal or No Deal in hour 2, and the old 96er Scott Schultz as well. We'll be right back here on YouTube, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
It's like a mini overtime. And every time I think about this in my mind when I go, oh boy, here we go. I have a vision of Jim Carrey and Liar Liar in my head. Oh boy, here we go. Updating the poll. What's the game of the week in the NFL? Here we go. Running away with it with 63% of the result is the Dallas Cowboys at home to the Baltimore Ravens. Hey, just when we need a win, right? We're facing an 0-2 Ravens team that there's a lot of heat on them. AFC favorites, division favorites, AFC North favorites, maybe not the entire conference, but It'll be a dandy. Baltimore Ravens at Dallas Cowboys. Sunday. Second place in the vote. The Houston Texans at the Minnesota Vikings. I thought this might get a little more love. It's a battle of 2-0 teams at U.S. Bank Stadium in Minnie. 23% of the vote saying that. 7% saying the Packers at the Titans. Not as many people are into that story of Malik Willis returning with Green Bay to face his former team. He hasn't been in the league long enough for this to be a big story. I get it. And 7% of you voting for other. I will be at Amerant Bank Arena in Sunrise, Florida on Friday, watching the Nashville Predators and the Florida Panthers in a double dip, preseason double dip. Might be the only one there, but that's okay. That's where I want to be. Somebody want to check on this? David number 1 in Winnipeg writes in, and he says, first time in CFL history, 2 twins faced off against each other with Edmonton and Winnipeg. Are we sure about that? What about Jalen Philpott and Tyson Philpott last year? Did they not play against each other? Can somebody fact check that? Jalen with the Stampeders, Tyson with the Montreal Alouettes. It happened just last year if they met, which I think they did. Not taking anything away from the Ford twins. They're probably the second most famous Canadian twins since the Edison twins. Clark will have no idea what that is. Do you, Clark, know who the Edison twins were? No, you're too young. Life with the Edison twins. It was an after-school show on Canadian television in the 80s. John Barker, Jim's brother, I think I read this earlier. I'm going to read it again. He says, tonight's Stamps Riders game is on CFL Plus for the United States. Coach DeBuck, where are we going to watch this thing after your game tonight? My vote is Wings and Things in Fort Lauderdale. I put them right up with Deja Vu and Moose Jaw for wings. Jen at the Four Seasons writes in. She says, good morning, y'all. Happy, finally, Friday. Not a fan of Aaron Rodgers winning another week. Excited for the Dub season to start tonight. Pat's home opener tomorrow. Woohoo! Yes, I read that in my sports update. The Western Hockey League season getting rolling tonight. Moose Jaw Warriors will raise a banner Saturday night. Speaking of Moose Jaw. Colin in Ottawa writes in and says, the Red Blacks have been devastated by injuries lately. I think Cody Fajardo might roll over us on Saturday in our depleted secondary. Well, you know what they say. Death, taxes, and Fajardo winning. There we go. Jalen, Jeff the Stamps fan says Jalen was hurt, didn't play last year. But they've been in the league a couple of years, haven't they? I'm just questioning. You might be right. You're going to say it's the first ever, you better be right. That's all that I'm saying. Moose comes in next on the Old Niner Sixer, coming up in hour 2 as well.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Esteban and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
And I'm like, you just got a life lesson, boys. There's always going to be somebody mean or somebody nasty or somebody big. There's always going to be. So you might as well learn it now. Thanks for picking on me and keeping me humble. I appreciate it, man. Enjoy the ball this weekend.
You look like you worked at Burger King in 1986 wearing that thing.
At least I had a job in 1986.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the program. Hour 2 of the show. Coming at you live here on not on Game Plus television. I guess pickleball's more important. But we love our television partner, WQEE down there in Atlanta. I'm here in South Florida. Moose, come on in. We're going to get to NFL Deal or No Deal coming up here right away. We have got Hall of Fame defensive tackle Scott Schultz coming up. What? You changed something. Your head's cut off, Darren. Can you?
Yeah, not sure.
You? That's that. There you go. What have you been doing for the last 20 minutes?
Listening to Jim Barker, doing a little reading, took a phone call, try and keep my time full. It's fun. It was fun to see Jim, talk about the family. I tell you, I had some trouble trying to keep it straight with John and Dave and all the family. And it's this guy's wife's fiance, whatever birthday, brother's wife's birthday. But glad they're all watching. It's fun to have the football family.
We're glad to have him in. By the way, Scott Lott, that's his name, is watching in Graham, Washington. He says, you're on right now on Game Plus TV. I have FUBU. So I guess I should say we are on television in America on Game Plus, but not Canada. I don't know. I'm like Jim. I said to Barks, are you on CBS Sports Network tonight? He's like, I don't know. I've become that guy. He doesn't know. He's sitting at the table providing analysis. He's got enough to worry about rather than being TV Times. But it's like, oh, man. I guess you'll always have to answer those questions.
Well,
when I was calling all those hockey games
yes.
for years, I just want to say, I would walk into the rink. I would kind of like to know where the game's airing as the play-by-play guy. So I would say to our producer, I don't know, let's call him Kevin. Is this airing on Shaw tonight as well? I don't know. Well, if you don't know, who does?
They're just doing the games, and it's funny. The game I did on Wednesday was on, TV out here in Ontario, and I'm so used to, and I'm sure you are too, when we do these games, the the production company's playing the commercials. So when you go to a commercial break, the commercials play. But in this situation, the television network's adding the commercials. So we're just a production company. So all of a sudden we go to break and it goes to black. And I'm like, guys, did I lose my monitor? Are we off the air? What happened? Because I should be seeing the commercials running. And he's, no, the TV network adds the commercials. We just send them the game. I just got to forget about it and just call the game.
Exactly. And I apologize for asking Jim Barker if tonight's CFL games were on CBS Sports Network. Do some work, Rod. Look it up yourself. I became the person that I hate today. BW in Edmonton writes in. He says, okay, everyone, I just popped in to say, have a safe weekend. I'm trucking through the Rocky Mountain. Watch the replay later. Be safe, bro. Did I have a point that I feel like I had a good point that I wanted to say, and it eluded me. But I guess it's time to get to NFL deal or no deal. Oh, and it was a good one. What the hell was it? It'll come to me. Since we're on a U.S. audience on Game Plus TV, in Canada, they're airing pickleball. It is what it is. We love our TV partner. It's their channel. They can do what they want. Are you ready? Well, let me just say, the poll question today, to get that out of the way, you can vote now on YouTube or Twitter. What's America's game of the week in the NFL? Is it the Houston at Minnesota, Green Bay at Tennessee, Baltimore at Dallas, or other? And running away with it is our Cowboys, my Cowboys, against the Baltimore Ravens. I'll be honest, it's like the only team left that I actually cheer for, because I've been so jaded and scarred by these other leagues and teams that I don't have teams. But in the NFL, it's just so nice to have a team to cheer for. Do they let me down? Always. But that's what being a fan is, right, Darren? You're a Titans fan. You get it. Okay, let's go. So what we do every week is NFL deal or no deal. I give Darren the betting lines, and he decides if he's going to take the bet or not. And then I chime in with my 2 cents. But Darren's far better at this than me, even though I'm leading the CFL pick pool. Just putting that in there. Denver at Tampa Bay leads it all off. Moose, the Buccaneers are favored by 6.5. Are you taking the bet or not?
Yeah, I'm taking the bet. I am. Give me some Baker. I'm starting to believe.
Baker's going to cook. Here it is. The New York Football Giants are at the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are favored by 6.5. Deal or no deal?
Got a deal from me there, too. Yeah. I just don't have faith in the Giants.
I don't have faith in the Browns. No deal from me. You thought this was one of the games of the week. I do not. Eagles at the Saints. New Orleans favored by 3. Deal or no deal?
Yeah, this is for me a big game of the week. It really is, because you got two teams that are, I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles are among the top teams in the league now, and the Saints should be considered there the way they played. Give me the Saints to keep rolling. I like the Saints in this one.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, maybe that fight between Sirianni and Jalen Hurts is a thing. Who knows? It's just what you said, what you hear. The Los Angeles Chargers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are rolling, dog, at 2-0, and they're favored by 1.5. Do they continue it? Deal or no deal?
No, they do not. It's my guy.
No? Jim Harbaugh. No deal from Moose.
Give me the Chargers.
I'll take the deal. Forget about Jim Harbaugh's big glasses. He used to be cool. Now he looks like the old man from the cartoon movie Big. But it's like me. I'm wearing orthopedic shoes. Trust me, we used to be cool. Houston at Minnesota. The Texans are favored by 2. Deal or no deal?
Deal. I deal. This is going to be an interesting game, but I'll take the Texans.
You're saying Cinderella's carriage will turn into a pumpkin for the Minnesota Vikings. That's what you're saying.
Tough day for Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I'll take the deal too. Your game of the week, the Green Bay Packers at the Tennessee Titans. Titans favored by 2.5. Deal or no deal?
Ooh. I don't know. I'm going to say no deal, just because I think the Packers higher expectations. I think they'll be okay. Josh Jacobs will run.
No deal. Okay. We're on radio too, so nodding doesn't help. Yes or no would help. So I am taking the deal. Chicago at Indianapolis. The Colts favored by 1.5. Let's speed it up here. Deal or no deal?
Deal. I'll take the Colts.
Carolina Panthers at the Las Vegas Raiders in the Toilet Bowl. Vegas favored by 5. Deal or no deal?
Deal.
No deal from me. Then you hear the Red Rifle starting at quarterback for the Panthers. He's going to save everything. No deal from me. Miami at Seattle. The Sea Chickens are favored by 4.5 with Skylar Thompson starting at quarterback for the Fins. Deal or no deal?
Yeah, deal for me.
Me too. San Francisco 49ers at the Los Angeles Rams. Niners favored by 6.5. Deal or no deal?
No deal.
Oh, because of all the injuries to the Niners or what?
It'll just be closer. I think the Rams are too well coached.
Big NFC West showdown. Moose is saying no deal, but I'll take the deal. Detroit Lions at the Arizona Cardinals. That's a hell of a game. The Lions are favored by 3 in the desert. Deal or no deal?
I'll take the deal. They need a bounce back.
No deal from me. I'm buying stock in Kyler Murray. He's your favorite quarterback, you said.
Yeah.
And then, why did my heart just flutter? If I was hooked up to a ECG and the way my life's going, I soon will be. You'd have seen this spike. Baltimore at Dallas. Ravens favored by 1. Deal or no deal?
That's a deal for me. I don't think the Ravens. There's no way. I just don't see a way the Ravens lose the game. I really don't.
Why?
Derrick Henry wanted to go to Dallas, trained in Dallas. Dallas didn't even phone Derrick Henry. So here you've got Derrick Henry, who had 84 yards and a touchdown against the team that he wanted to be at. You don't think he's going to want to shove it down their throat? And they've been close.
You think
they just don't? You
think he's going to?
I think he's angry.
You think he's going to run angry? That is a thing. I'll go with you. You talked me into believing the Ravens are going to win. You know,
they're going to flex.
Can you remind the world when I die, I want the Dallas Cowboys to be my pallbearers? Will you please carry that message, Darren? And you know why I want the Dallas Cowboys to be my pallbearers at my funeral, right? You know why.
Mm-hmm.
So they can let me down one last time. Sunday will be the latest. Kansas City Chiefs at the Atlanta Falcons. This is a good one. Super Bowl preview. Chiefs favored by 3. Deal or no deal?
Yeah, prime time. So Kirk Cousins and Atlanta will be in this game right to the end. Whether they win or lose, they won't. Kansas City, I'll take the deal.
You're going to say they're going to cover? I'll take the Falcons to beat the spread. And then Monday, it's not a doubleheader, but there are 2 games on Monday starting in staggering start times. Jacksonville to Buffalo. The Bills favored by 5. Deal or no deal?
Deal there, too. I said the Jets will dictate the division, but that's just a choice of dictating if they're going to be in it with the Bills. Like, Buffalo's for real.
It's a deal for me, too. Oh, by the way, Jeff Pearson is watching, the hotelier to the stars, and he says, Rod and Moose, I'll take the Vikings. Well, you have to. You're a Vikings fan. But no, you don't have to. It's your choice. He's taking the Vikings. What did I write down here? You and I are both taking the Texans.
Yeah.
And then Washington at Cincinnati. I think that's a sneaky good game. The Bengals are favored by 7.5. Deal or no deal?
No deal. And Jaden Daniels is the reason why it's no deal. I think the Bengals win, but not by 8 points.
You think they'll beat the spread? Okay. There you go, everybody.
If you're betting, please bet responsibly. Sport betting, Moose and I call it. Betting, but not for cash. Jim Barker was with us last hour. If you missed it, you'd have loved it. Talked about this tremendous weekend in the Canadian Football League for games. He didn't remember a weekend with this where every game is going to be great. Well, they might not all be great games, but they're all really big games. There's something that needs to be pointed out here, and I need to let it go. This is why I spent a lot of time on the beach looking at the ocean. Let it go, Rod. David in Winnipeg wrote in and said, when Terrell Ford and Trey Ford meet Saturday, it'll be the first time in CFL history 2 twins have opposed each other. I'm like, are you sure about that? What about the Philpott? And Jeff the Stamps fan writes in and goes, no, one of them was hurt. I said, are you sure about that? And Jeff the Stamps fan has written back in and said, okay, I did the research. The Philpotts did, in fact, play against each other on July 6th in Montreal. But that was the only time. Don't say that the Fords are the first ever to face each other. Like, I don't care how many times. Accuracy, Darren, in this business has gone out the window. And I had it beaten into me like a frickin', you know that I did, because I've told you the story. Like somebody taking a hot hockey stick to a rug on the clothesline. You better be right. You better be accurate. I'm sure it was PTSD. I'm sure I have PTSD. I'm sure I gave our intern, Alan, PTSD when he started working with us. And now it's like nobody cares. Nobody cares about being accurate anymore. Tell me why I should let it go, because I'm really trying, man. I am, with not a lot of success.
In a risk of being accurate or being inaccurate, my mind is just doing a dance in my brain of like, wait a second guessing all the things that I think that I know. And so I got to go to the big board. Maybe you got to go to the big board. But you said twins. I don't think the Philpotts are twins, right?
Yes, they are.
Are they twins?
Of course they are.
Because I'm now second guessing if they're twins. So, okay. So then it would if they played each other the one time.
I think we're all ready for the weekend.
Yeah.
You legitimately asked if the Philpotts are twins after all the coverage.
Oh, I know. But it's just like for somebody to come out and say that and miss out on that one, obviously they've been in the league together. I'm like, maybe I missed something along the way for this to be put out into the world, that it's the first time that they're going to play each other.
You might want to go look it up. Regarding the Cowboys coming to my funeral to be pallbearers, Carlos says, I heard that actually happened at a funeral. Huh. Yeah, something just flooded my mind. Funeral stories with regards to sports. I'll save that for later because I don't want to be a downer. Not today. Moose, go look it up, okay? And then text me when you find out that I was right. That would be great.
Okay.
The old 96er. Scott Schultz is coming in next as we talk ball for all. Former Charger, Steeler, and Hall of Fame Rough Rider. Back in a flash. Here on Game Plus TV, U.S. only. WQEE Radio. Streaming live on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The 80s Club, live in Moose Jaw. Honeymoon Suite, along with a flock of seagulls. Men without hats. And spoons. All together for one night at Moose Jaw Event Center, Saturday, November 16th. Tickets on sale now at sastih.ca or the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
All right, everybody. Football Friday continues. I need your help now because the old 96er Scott Schultz is having a tough time getting logged in, so I need some audience participation on a few things. And to save time before he comes on, Scott Anthony Schultz, he puts the sass in ass. Scott Anthony Schultz will be with us as soon as he gets this figured out. 6'2", 286. This is playing weight. From Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Played at the University of North Dakota. And look him up. Wikipedia. 2001, San Diego Chargers. 2002, Pittsburgh Steelers. And then 2002 to 2009, Canada's team, the Saskatchewan Roughriders. CFL All-Star, All-Canadian, and 95th Grey Cup champion. But we can't get the connection hooked up. So while we do that, I want you to tell me what you think about this. I get all these news releases from everywhere, all and sundry, as a sports talk host that I am. And it's fun. I like it. And from this entity called Just Women's Sports. They sent me their news release here. Atlanta clinched the WNBA's 8th and final playoff spot Thursday night, defeating New York 78-67 in Brooklyn on the last night of regular season play. And as if a postseason ticket wasn't enough, Atlanta Dream Center Tina Charles was crowned the all-time WNBA rebounds leader in the win. I just want to ask you, will you be watching and do you care? I'll probably be watching because it's going to be on my television and up in my face all weekend. But I'll tell you, it's not as entertaining to me as major junior hockey or some of these other things that I was born and raised on. But I'm going to be watching this. I will vote yes. I'll be into it. just because it's on and again, in my face. Are you? Are you into the WNBA? Please tell me yes or no. And the playoff teams, by the way, are the New York Liberty, Atlanta, Minnesota, Phoenix, Connecticut, Indiana, and Caitlin Clark, Las Vegas, and Seattle. So, I mean, I'm sitting there trying to figure out, as this old fart who has special fitting shoes because of my painful bursitis, things have changed. And you got these new leagues, old leagues with new people. Why don't you cover it? Why don't you put this on your blog? Why don't you do this? Why didn't you let me know you were playing? I got Just Women's Sports sending me everything I need to know about the WNBA playoffs. That's what we're going to talk about because they're sending it to me. Maybe put a little work into promoting what you do. How about that? That's all. I would like to know if you, the viewers, are into it or not. Jay in Winnipeg writes in and he says, can I get a gong, Rod? Gong. By the way, CFL's been very, very, very good in the info that they send out me. They're not one of those leagues. But it's funny, too. Jim Barker was with us an hour ago. And his whole family, apparently, his brothers John and David. How nice is that? They're all watching from all over America this show to watch their brother Jim. I read the game notes of the Edmonton Elkamos and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And in there, I found that no team in the history of the Canadian Football League has gone 0-7 and made the playoff. Jim's like, he's watching, Jim. He's on with me. He's like, I'm going to use that tonight. Glad to now be a researcher for the TSN panel right here. Things have changed. And back to this thing about the Philpott twins, life with the Philpott twins. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in. He says, speaking of the Philpotts, both should be free agents after this year. Do they end up playing together again? Will be interesting. Nah, because if you watch this show regularly and you're a longtime fan, we had Tyson Philpott on this show, the Alouette star, and he said he was happy to go somewhere else after playing his whole life with his brother. That's how I knew they were twins. I'm so gumbled and garbled up in this world of recovery. DuPont, did you see, were you watching last segment? He goes, are you sure they're twins? That's called gaslighting, everybody. Yeah, I'm sure. Don't question me. I know that they are. Hey. John Ohm says, Winnipeg Jets Fan Fest this weekend. Go out and support it. And he says, not into the WNBA. Sorry, football, hockey, baseball on my list. Hey, I didn't say I was going to sit here and talk about it necessarily on this show. I said, are you going to watch it? We finished watching the latest season of Cobra Kai last night. I did watch the Marlins, which I wouldn't normally last night on cable television, but Shohei was in town, and I happened to be watching when he made Major League Baseball history. The interesting thing about baseball, well over 100 years old, it's over 120 years old, something happens that's never happened before. It just takes a long time in between things happening in baseball that are that exciting. Sorry, not sorry. Speaking of, as we await the old 96er, or as John Frenzy, my longtime broadcast partner, would call him, the old 69er.
How about that?
Let me do a sports update here. The Toronto Blue Jays kick off their final road series of the season tonight with the first of 3 games against the Tampa Bay Rays. The Jays are coming off a 4-0 win over the Texas Rangers, snapping a 2-game slide. Jose Berrios is set to start on the mound for Toronto. I'll be glad the Jays season will be over. I don't got to keep track of them any longer. Let's talk about Shohei. Dodgers superstar made history Thursday night in the Dodgers 20-4 rout of the Miami Marlins. He became the first major leaguer to hit 50 home runs and steal 50 bases in a season. Belted 3 homers last night at Lone Depot Park. Chris Sanford, why didn't we go? He finished 6 for 6 at the plate with 10 runs batted. What? Here's the story. He's going to be in the playoffs for the first time. I'm watching the Marlins game last night. And they said, and for the first time, Shohei Ohtani will be in the MLB playoff. You got me hooked. I'll be watching the Dodgers now to see what they do with Shohei. They were good before. I think it's 12 straight years they've been in the playoff. You got to have a story. You got to have something interesting to get me watching. I mean, CFL games, I'm going to watch no matter what. So as I read this sports update here, the Calgary Stampeders host the Saskatchewan Roughriders tonight in a crucial CFL matchup with the playoffs approaching. A win could vault Calgary into third in the West, depending on Edmonton's result against Winnipeg on Saturday. Stamps have dominated this rivalry, winning 8 of the last 10. Going back to 2019, the Toronto Argonauts host the Hamilton Tiger Cats tonight, with Hamilton aiming for a third straight win in a season series sweep over their longtime rival. A victory would bring the Ticats within 4 points of the third-place Argos in the East Division. Joel Embiid has a new 3-year contract with the NBA's Philadelphia 76ers. Why are we reading NBA news? Because the old 96er can't get his computer figured out. The 7-time NBA All-Star agreed to a $193 million extension, which includes a player option for the 28-29 season. Sports updates brought to you by Seat Giant. Stop paying U.S. dollars for sporting events. It's Canadian-owned and operated, Seat Giant, with Canadians in mind. Super Bowl, college football, Taylor Swift, Justin Timberlake. They've got it all. Use the promo code RPShow at checkout for 15% off. Visit us now at seatgiant.ca. And for Landmark Cinemas, get more of what you love. Free movies and concession items with the Landmark Extras program. Invitations to exclusive screenings and more. There are 3 rewarding programs to choose from that get you something extra with every movie purchase you make. Check out landmarkcinemas.com to register for free today. How many of you have answered the bell here when I said, are you into the WNBA or not? I feel like John Ohm is the only guy that answered it, and that might be the answer to my question. You want to talk about gaslighting. The WNBA is the hottest thing. The expansion franchise is worth $125 million in Portland. But nobody's watching. Trent is watching in Norway. He says, I enjoy Caitlin Clark's highlight reels on YouTube, but will be more interested when Toronto joins the WNBA in 2026. I predict the Riders to come back and overcome their troubles. Stay well. That's Trent in Norway. Are they going to do it tonight? That's what I'd like to know. Brent in Wellington writes in. He says, you better book those pallbearers in advance. I'm guessing they are busy these days with a lot of their fans. Well, it's a treat for you viewers when guys like the old 96er or the guests are unable to join because of technical problems. You get my stories. So one time I was sitting, where the hell were we? I want to say Playa del Carmen, Mexico, maybe Nuevo Vallarta, somewhere in Mexico. I can't remember if I was still drinking back then or not. Doesn't matter. I was sitting with Joe Lucier from Belmont Tire, telling stories, shooting the fat on a business trip, if you can believe. And he got talking about how much he loves the Montreal Canadiens and how much he loves the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and his wife, whom I can't remember her name now. She was like 20 feet away, and she's like, you know what? I hope the Montreal Canadiens and Saskatchewan Roughriders come to your funeral because you love them more than you love me. She said it. And like 6 months later, he dropped dead of a heart attack. I want to say her name was Gloria. Real nice lady. She was fantastic lady. Things happen. And Joe was a big sponsor of what we did on Rider Radio and had become a pretty good friend of mine. I got all my tires at Belmont Tire because of Joe. I got letters for Joe's funeral from Jim Hobson, the president of the Rough Riders, and Travis Moen, forward of the Montreal Canadiens, that I read at the funeral so that the Saskatchewan Rough Riders and Montreal Canadiens were at Joe's funeral. Got up there and spoke. That's just kind of the things that we do there. You know, oh my God, was she just aghast when news came out that he had passed away. Obviously, she felt bad. She was just making a funny comment. We all thought it was hilarious. I sure hope the Canadians and Rough Riders are at your funeral because, hey, you love them more than you love me. Joe was quite a guy. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, sorry, I'm not into the WNBA. Then again, I don't even watch the NBA. Dude. But there is something to be said about the hipsters and what's popular. Toronto getting a WNBA franchise. I don't doubt they're going to get $18,000 a game. I don't. And the PWHL, women's hockey, I watch it because it's on television. End of story. Would I buy a ticket? Not on your life. Unless my niece was playing, but that's different. Jen at the Four Seasons writes in. She says, I don't basketball, but I will watch March Madness. And this is a gal that watches sports every day at the Four Seasons Sports Palace. So again, the majority of our viewers not into the WNBA, but again, we're not a WNBA show. We do like NASCAR, though. Is Jason Gatelaro ready to go? Is he logged in, Clark? Should I take a break or keep rambling? Okay, 902-518-3033. I guess we're going to push the old 96er to a future day. That's too bad. Let me just read a couple. Yeah, see, this is unfortunate. Vintage Sasko writes in on the 902 line. He says, hi, Rod. Fat and sassy wobbly pigs is one of the best football quotes ever. Moose jaw stomp for life. He's talking about Scott Schultz. Also love to see Schultz as the next president of the Rough Riders when the time comes. Yeah, I'm starting that. Blessings, Vintage Sasko. Yeah, it's too bad we couldn't get the old 69er on the show today, but in a future program, we will. We'll be right back with Jason Gatelaro on a Football Friday, live here on Game Plus Television, USA only. It's a yard sale. Don't ask. WQEE Radio, and of course, Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bernard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, everybody, sports fans, join the RP Show newsletter today. Stay ahead of the game with exclusive insights, updates, contests, and exclusive content delivered straight to your inbox. Sign up for free today at rodpedersen.com. Talked about sports that you're into on this Football Friday. We were talking about WNBA. Who doesn't love a little stock car racing? And Jason Gatelaro joins us from NASCAR Canada. Welcome back to the program, Jason. How are you, man?
Thank you, Rod. Very good. Yourself?
Oh, fantastic. NASCAR began in Florida. Did you know that? That's where I am, just so you know. Yeah.
Okay.
I would think working for NASCAR Canada, you would know that. I looked it all up. So we are big NASCAR fans down here, and you're at NASCAR Canada heading into a very big weekend. Maybe we should start there.
Yeah, massive weekend, actually. So we have the finale in Montmagny, which is a short oval track. And we have 3 drivers that could win the championship at that finale. So we have the 96, Camiran. We have the 74, Lacroix, and Ranger, the 27. All really, really fun guys to watch on the track. And each one of them could win the championship at this race.
Can you talk about the road to get here, if you don't mind?
Yeah, it's been a great road. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of chaos on the track, to be honest. It was a very entertaining year. Those 3 boys that I just mentioned, who I kind of like, I love the fight game, so I kind of see like Camiran as a Mike Tyson in his prime, a Lacroix as a GSP, and a Ranger as like a Muhammad Ali. They all have their different styles. But they, amongst everybody else, we had 60 drivers this year who competed. Amongst everybody else, really put on a hell of a show, and I'm expecting something like what we saw in Edmonton in Montmagny, which was it's not good for the finances, but it's good for the crowd. It was a very very chaotic, kind of smashy kind of race, and it was a lot of fun to watch. I'm expecting the same thing in Montmagny.
It's interesting you say that, because I used to be one of those guys that thought it was just a bunch of cars going around and around and around. And then I went to it. Whoa. That's not what it is. I see what everybody loves. And let me just back up for a second. Your français est très bien. Where's that from? Because you got a Mexican name. What's your deal?
No, I'm Italian. My dad's Italian, my mom's Irish, but I grew up in Montreal.
Okay.
So a little bit of French, a little bit of English, a little bit of Italian. I mean, in my neighborhood, we were all one of those. We all had Italian dads and Irish moms, but yeah.
Hey, listen. Oh, dude, I get that so much. Franco Milo, the Milo family from football, Joey Alfieri from the Alouettes, Randy Chevrier, all from that same. It's just a melting pot. As you say, Italian, French, it's all great. I should have recognized that dialect. So what is it? Because down here, I said, NASCAR was invented in Florida. I've gone over the whole, once I fell in love with it, I got to learn everything about it, and it's been, several years since I have. How would you explain the hook for people? Because I see your crowds are just massive for NASCAR Canada. They're clearly into it.
Yeah, we've had this year, every race has been sold out or over capacity except for 3, which were kind of on the outskirts, like Newfoundland didn't have quite as many people, Saskatoon. But otherwise, I'd say just go to the track. There's nothing there's nothing that can move you like seeing it live. I myself have 2 young kids, and they think it's cool to watch on TV, but when they get to the track, it's absolutely exhilarating. And I think one of the beautiful things about NASCAR is how accessible it is, right? So especially NASCAR Canada, fans can go into pit lane, they can meet the drivers, they can meet the teams, they can have a chat with them before the race. And I don't think many elite sports give you the opportunity as a fan to do that. And I think it's a beautiful thing for our sport,
I can actually tell you none of those leagues do that. Not one. So that's the exact experience that I experienced when I started going to stock car racing, was exactly that. It was all welcoming. Everybody's like, come on in. Anybody could go meet the drivers. It wasn't because I was special, because I was the media guy or anything like that. I'm just reading the comments from the viewers here. They're all excited about this. Sure. So you mentioned kind of real fast where the track is this weekend. Where is it specifically?
So it's called Montmagny, Quebec. It's about an hour away from Quebec City. Small little town. What I've found though, this is my first year at NASCAR, right? And what I've experienced is that these smaller venues, these smaller kind of cities that we go to, are just so full of charisma and passion. And I use Edmonton as an example because I think it was an amazing race. And again, we had that battle between Ranger, Lacroix, and Camiran. It was a standing ovation. The crowd was absolutely ridiculous. So the big venues like Toronto, CTMP, Three Rivers are a lot of fun, but it's just a different vibe when you're in those small little 5,000 attendance type of crowds, and it's really a lot of fun. And again, it's the sport. It's a sport where a husband can tell his wife, okay, let's bring the kids, because it is family friendly. And everybody can kind of get out and go together, and the wifey doesn't get stuck with the kids for a whole day while he's out playing golf or something.
It is a great family event for sure. So, what's the biggest crowd you guys had in Canada this year?
I would have to say Three Rivers. So Three Rivers is actually the oldest street course in North America, established in 1967, if I'm not mistaken. And over the weekend, there's got to be 150,000 people there. And I'm being conservative. Yeah, so there's a lot of people. And Dom Fougère, who runs that event, is absolutely brilliant. I think it's, that along with CTMP, I think are the crown jewels of our series. And they do a really, really good job. And it's cool to see the contrast, from a small little oval track, half a mile, whatever it is, to something like Three Rivers or CTMP, different crowds, different type of racing. And I think that's another cool thing about our sport. We have the street tracks, we have the pavement ovals, and we have the dirt oval in Ohsweken, Ontario, all of which, puts different types of stress on the drivers, different type of stress on the cars, and puts on a different type of show. But my personal favorite as a fan is definitely the short track oval, and we're going to have a extremely high car count in Montmagny this weekend, which means it'll be crowded, there'll be some traffic, and there'll be some shoulders rubbing.
Well, I went to a dirt track in Estevan, Saskatchewan last month, looked around, jammed. I'm like, they're doing it right. People love this. We're kind of up against it for time. What we need to get out there, Jason? What would you like people to know?
Well, I just, if you can get out there, I think it's going to be, like I said, I don't know that we've ever been in a position where the top 3 guys are fighting for the championship at the last race. So any one of those 3 guys that I mentioned could win. And I just think it's going to be a really, really exciting race. And I guess in closing, I'd say we did some work on the schedule for next season, and we have some really, really, really exciting venues and races coming up. So stay tuned for next season. I think it's going to be even better than this one.
Well, keep us in the loop. Pardon the pun.
Absolutely.
Have a good weekend, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, brother. You too.
Jason Gatelaro from NASCAR Canada. It's going to be a lot of fun and a cool sounding play. Momani? We'll be right back with Overtime. I've already read the sports update. So it's all you, whatever you'd like to get off your chest. One more segment this week. It's next here on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, live streaming on YouTube, of course, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
It's overtime. Where did the time go on a football Friday? But overtime's always brought to you by the hockey-loving Overtime Lanes in Calgary. As they would like you to know, hockey players, if you're looking for the perfect place to perfect your shot, and by the way, it is, look no further than Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Whether you're preparing for the big game or just want to have some fun, Overtime Hockey Lanes has got you covered. 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. By the way, this summer when I was at the Golden Ticket Sports Center, they had Golden Ticket's specialties, not hockey. It's basketball. It's courts. You saw it. I was broadcasting from the court. Basketball, volleyball. They do baseball training there. But for the summer, for the hockey players that were home, they laid down the synthetic ice, probably about 2 lanes. And I'm like, that's cute. It's nice. The hockey players were great as always because they're hockey players. But I'm like, you got to go to overtime hockey if you want to get serious about it. How about radar testing, actual targets, with the light ups, keeping track of it, bony puck shooting machines, licensed bar. It's everything. If it's a hockey country, Canada, which you say you are, you better go down and check out Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Baseball's got batting cages. Golf has driving ranges. Why would you not have a shooting lane? Oh, yeah, we do. Overtime. Stacy, watching at Access World Headquarters, says, great week of shows, Rod Squad. Go Riders. Thank you, Stacy. You have a great weekend yourself. I'm sure you'll be at the Pats game Saturday night. Be safe. Ba-ba-ba-boom, ba-ba-ba-bum. Colin in Ottawa writes it. He says, my Jets looked awesome yesterday. He's talking about the New York Jets. So great to see such an efficient offense for a change for us long-suffering Jets fans. I'm kind of pulling for him. It was weird, though, was it not, to watch the game and see the Jets just flex their muscle and impose their will on the Patriots? That's the one thing I was thinking was that was a really good long run for the Patriots, the greatest in NFL history. 6 Super Bowls, but it's over. You got to recognize when it's over and accept it. I think the Patriots fans have. And then it's just hard to watch them get mashed right into the grass like they were last night by the division rival Jets. Hopefully New York can feel good about it now. It sounds like you do. Jeremy in Winnipeg writes in. He says, the Cowboys have a good team. They got punched in the mouth. They will bounce back. I know. We were playing NFL Deal or No Deal earlier, and I don't know what. They like, even the betting expert will say, don't bet on your team. And, I mean, I don't bet, period, other than sport betting and what we do here. But you just don't have an accurate read on your team. I don't know. I have no feelings on Baltimore-Dallas Sunday. I have no idea what's going to happen. The topic of NFL expansion fees came up. And I don't know, man. It's the one thing. I talk about how the business has changed, but for the NFL, it hasn't. And I look at it different than you all look at it. And I'll never, it's a term of Serena's, you can't unsee it. Well, let me read the comment. These guys were talking about the NFL expansion fees, and I think they're talking about it because I brought up the WNBA going to Portland for $125 million. Colin in Ottawa says an expansion fee for an NFL team would be north of $5 billion because the owners want to keep the franchise valuations as high as possible. For sure. Thank you, John Ohm. See you, man. Stay safe. But here's the thing. I go to these NFL events, and they do it the way it's always been done. If the NFL can do it, what I mean by that is, come on in. Every single thing I applied for at Super Bowl, I got. How do you think we were broadcasting live from Radio Row and sitting on the set of Follow the Money, the morning show that airs before ours on Game Plus TV? Gifts. Here's a notebook from the NFL draft coming up in Detroit. And by the way, are you going to be there? Are we going to see you there? Here's passes around your neck. Come to this party. Come to this news conference. Come on inside. Everything's free. Everything's come on in. Everything is so open and inclusive. And these other leagues, for whatever reason, they just stopped doing that stuff. They used to all do it. And now they don't. And I can get when you say things have changed, Rod. You're the old fuddy-duddy wearing orthopedic shoes because of your painful bursitis. Sure. You're right. But the NFL can do it? And their franchise fees just keep going up and up and up.
It doesn't compute him. Jeremy in Winnipeg says, so if the Jets look that great against New England, what's going to happen when they want to hang with the big boys? I'm not sold on the Jets. Just worry about your Chiefs. I think you got your hands full this week with the Falcons in prime time. It's too bad the old 96er wasn't with us on the program today. Technological ghosts. Got him. But Allie writes in from Edmonton. She says, happy Football Friday from Kevin Allie. Years ago, my mom, another friend, and I met Scott Schultz and many other riders at a Regina restaurant. It made my mom's day, as they were all really nice. Great show as always, RP, DD, and crew. Hear that, guys? Thank you, Allie, up there in Edmonton. I was asking the audience, are you into the WNBA? Brian in Hudson's Bay writes in, and he says, that's a big negative from me. John Ohm says promotion costs big money. That's what I hear all the time, John. That's what I hear. But all I'm saying is the NFL continues to get bigger and the other leagues don't. Anything that's not Big Four, NHL, NBA, MLB, NFL. It is what it is. It's fun talking about it all, isn't it? Have a safe weekend, everybody. See you next week right here. Who has more fun than us?